So it's your birthday, Justin, huh?
Yep.
What are we doing?
We're going to Killington to do a ski bike run triathlon.
Nice. We did it last year, right?
Yep.
Very cool. So Killington is about 4 hours from us, 3.5 hours.
3.5, yeah.
Yeah, we're in the Hudson Valley. It's early. It's a little after 6:30 a.m. We're on the road. Got our bikes and our skis packed. I think people are looking at us crazy right now, driving through town with skis on. Like, where are those guys? Where are those guys going? Right? Well, Killington has a ton of snow still. In fact, Hunter Mountain has a ton of snow by us, but I think their insurance policy only goes to a certain date, so they close. And I don't think it'd be worth it economically for them to open for most of this time of year. Season pass holders go, so there's really no new revenue. So, but people made a comment to me yesterday when they found out what we were doing. They're like, "You have such an active family. What's the keys to getting an active family? We really admire what you guys are doing. You guys bike, you guys run, you guys do all these sports. You guys are always on the go. You're always on the mountain. It's great that your kids are into all this. What's the keys for families to do this, Justin? How did you learn at a young age to be an active person? Because let me tell you something. It's easy to be very sedentary. It's easy to play video games. It's easy to be couch potato. It's easy to sit on the computer, which we all sit on the computer. You like the computer. I like the computer. But I really got to get my activities in. I really got to get out the door to be happy. So tell everybody what your experience has been growing up in a family that's very active.
When I was 5, I was going to, the whole family was going to do a 5K in Ellenville. So I was going to walk run it with my mom. So
With
then,
me, I think,
with my
right?
mom.
Mom. Okay.
And then you were going to run the whole thing. And then I just started out with you and just ran the whole thing with you.
Just ran the whole thing. Now before that, you must have been like 3 or 4. And I would run back then, but not much. I mean, back then it was like a 2-mile run. And you used to ride your bike.
Yeah.
You used to ride your bike while I used to run, right?
I remember that.
I remember the first time that you wanted to run. You were like, I want to run. And you did about a half a mile. You must have been like 4 years old. You did like a half a mile by yourself. We went around the big block there. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. I didn't know what to expect when you were for the 5K, because I was planning on just going very slow with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Name of the game was just to get across the finish line, no matter walk, run, and you did it in
35, something like that.
35.
Yeah.
It was your first 5K time.
When I was 5.
When you were just 5 by 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it happened like May 15th or 16th, and your birthday's May 3rd.
Yeah.
So you had just turned 5. Everybody was amazed, right?
Yeah.
The whole family was amazed. I mean, everybody in the town was amazed. They're like, wow, that's great. Your 5th birthday, remember your 5th birthday?
Yeah, sort of.
You wanted to go on a hike to Sam's Point for your 5th birthday. And you were like the only one that could like hike all the way to the top. It's maybe a 300-400 foot elevation gain, but it's a nice, and a half mile. You have to go up the carriage road, which is a steep carriage road at certain points. And that's what you wanted for your 5th birthday. So you've always just been instilled from a very young age, hey, you enjoy the outdoors. This is what we do, right?
Yeah.
So what would be some of your advice to families that are raising young kids?
You have to have the ambition to do something, and you have to want it. You can't just sit there and say you want it, but you have to...
You have to go do it,
you have
right?
to go do it.
Go do it, right? And I think a lot of families just don't understand the importance of taking your kids out to get exercise, to do something enjoyable, like a hike. Even if it's a hike, just to get your kids out and go, I mean, you love to do Spartan races, right?
Yeah.
That's your thing now. So you kind of graduated from running and all this other stuff, but you still cycle with me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll run with me every now and then. You helped me run in December to reach my 2,000 miles, right?
Yeah.
I did 2,000 miles last year. But I think it's the environment that kids grow up in, which is huge. So if you're a parent, and if you're not setting an example to your kids, how can you expect your kids to want to get out and do activities, right? Because it's the environment that you were raised in.
Yeah.
Just was, hey, we live in a family that gets exercise. We live in a family that eats right. We live in a family that this is what we do, so this is what you know. And it's really helped along the way, because now all the sports you do, I mean, you're just way ahead of a lot of kids your age.
Yeah.
You're ahead of every kid your age.
And
you
some
play,
kids older.
And some kids older than you, much older. Like last year in the Killington Triathlon, it's 15 and under is the age group.
Yeah.
So you were just turned 12 last year.
That day of my birthday.
That was the day of your birthday. So you were just turned 12. You were 11, the first day of your 12th birthday. And you were competing against kids 14 and 15. And running, you came in first.
Yeah. Biking, I came in first.
Skiing,
I did not come in first.
You did not do good on the skiing part. You have new skis this year.
Yeah.
So you finished third overall, and you were up against kids that were 4 years older than you. Three plus years older than you. And you, not only did you give them a run for your money, but you beat them in running and in biking. So this year's going to be exciting, huh?
Yeah.
Because you're a much better skier this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like 5 times the skier you were last year. You have new skis too, so that really helps.
Yeah.
So we're headed to do our annual Killington Triathlon for your birthday.
Yeah.
And parents, just get your kids out there. Show them a good time. Show them what the outdoors is about. Show them what exercise is about. And it's a great, it's a great way just to get kids active. Just show them anything. When Courtney was born, because Courtney's 3 years older than you.
Yeah.
2.5, 3 years older than you. I mean, she knows as a baby every day we went to go work out there. So she used to sit in her crib, and then she sat on the floor, and then she was able to crawl around the floor while Mom and I were working out in our home gym. So it's just always been that thing that we've just always done. It's always just been there. And believe me, I was never active until Courtney was born, because I realized as a parent that I had screwed myself up pretty bad with my diet, with lack of exercise, sedentary, and my job and the stress. I'd screwed myself up pretty bad that I was not going to do that to my kids. I promised myself I was not going to do that to my kids, because I didn't grow up in an active family, and I always tell you that, Justin.
Yeah.
That, Grandma and Grandpa, we never did anything active. I mean, our thing of active was like drive to a lookout point and look down the mountain. That's what Grandma and Grandpa considered to be going outdoors, right? So, and Mom never had that either. I mean, their exercise was going to the mall to shop. So we didn't come from that kind of a household. I think that, for me as a parent, was the thing that scared me the most, was here are my parents that are getting older, that aren't active, that have health problems, and my grandparents that had health problems. And I think that's the thing that scared me the most when Courtney was born. We're like, uh-oh, now, as a parent, I'm responsible for just more than me, so I've got to get my act together. So parents, it's up to you guys, parents, to make a better life for yourself, but really to be a role model for your kids, because what you learn now, Justin, is going to be with you the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. I was fortunate enough to see the light, or the fulcrum point, when Courtney was born, and say, I've got to make massive action, I got to change, I got to do everything better. But most parents never see that, and it's unfortunate, because you can see it in their kids, right? Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, even some parents, we know a lot of parents that are runners, that are active, but their kids aren't active. I'm not sure where the gap is between having not having sedentary kids and having active parents. So that's an interesting thing. I mean, where is that gap? Where is that disconnect? Did the parents not really encourage it or get them involved? I mean, when Courtney was young, we had a backpack and we took her hiking everywhere with us in Colorado when we lived in Colorado. You got on your bike and I ran. So for me, having kids, the fun thing about having kids was, hey, I have people to do activities with me now, right? It's like you get a dog, you want your dog to go with you everywhere. Well, I wanted you guys to go with me everywhere. So we took you guys. We didn't alienate you from anything, and we never forced you to run, or we never forced you to do this, but I think it just was, hey, it just came on because this is what Mom and Dad do. So even parents, even if you aren't active, there's time to make a change, and kids can always make a change, right? I think for kids, the most important time that they do make a change is like when they turn what? When they get into middle school and they start doing sports.
Yeah.
Because that's when they have a coach now.
It's the easiest time to change.
That's when they have a coach now, and that's when they get involved. Now, I've seen a lot of kids, not a lot, but a handful of kids in your in your age group that were overweight, and now that they're playing sports in a formalized sports program, they've lost weight, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've thinned down, they've lost weight, and I think it's just part of kids wanting to be kids and be active. Because kids, we all want to be active. We're born to be active. We're born to move. We're born to run. We're born to do that. And I think once you get into a groove or a rhythm, or you get inspiration, because I think the one thing is inspiration when you get into organized sports, right? Because there's a lot of other kids around you, and you want to try out for it, and it's competitive.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier at that point. You can leave the parents behind and say, okay, I'm going to now do this, do that. But parents, get out there, take your kids out. No matter what you do, one step forward is a step in the right direction. And happy birthday, Justin. Let's go rock this triathlon out.